Good morning and welcome to day 2 of the EuroHPC Summit 2025. A very warm welcome also to our audience online. In this panel today, we will discuss about attracting HPC talent in Europe. Yesterday, Dr. Rafael Duxmal, the chair of the EuroHPC Governing Board, pointed out that investment in people and skills is an evergreen priority. And this is why I'm thrilled that we are discussing this important topic in such a central moment in the summit. Because no matter if HPC software development, chip design, platform engineering, quantum computing, or staffing the new AI factories, we have one overarching challenge. And this is finding the right people. And we all know that finding the right people and attracting talent, especially in industry, can be very difficult and challenging. The Draghi report on the future of European competitiveness emphasized that skills shortage and gaps are hampering the EU's competitiveness. Over 60% of companies trying to recruit ICT specialists have difficulties to fill those vacancies. For SMEs, it's even more challenging. 4 out of 5 SMEs have problems to recruit and find the skilled workforce that they need. This is even more difficult if it comes to breakthrough technologies like AI, quantum computing, but in general the field of HPC. We all know that nowadays it's quite a challenge, but in the future it's actually very likely that it will get worse. The demands for skilled people in the area of HPC, AI and quantum is rising faster than the development of talents and the growth of an expert workforce. The ICT experts are in such a high demand that sectors even compete for these talents. Of course, migration both inward and outward has a significant impact on the size, composition and skills of the EU's workforce. And saying this, Europe has been one of the important exporters of talents, but is struggling to retain talent in highly skilled occupations here in Europe. The European Commission launched very recently to address those challenges, the Union of Skills. This is to improve high-quality education, training, and lifelong learning. This Union of Skills will build skills, upskill and reskill agile workforce, and also help to circulate skills that enables a free movement of people across the EU. This has a lot to do with recognition of qualifications across borders and acknowledging competencies that are also gained outside of the formal education system. In addition, they will take measures to attract, develop, and retain talent, meaning setting up a talent pool and also implementing visa strategies. Besides this broader effort to address the skill shortage, we, the HPC, quantum and AI communities, have also to address this topic. The EuroHPC joint undertaking has several initiatives in place to work on this and address the lack of skilled workforce. For example, we have the National Competence Center, a very successful project that fosters HPC expertise and is enabling knowledge exchange and training to SMEs, industry, public administration, and academia. We have the centers of excellence that have a very specific training portfolio for HPC applications that are injecting HPC in domain scientists and upskilling them. I'm very happy to say that we will launch next month a project that is called the EuroHPC Academy, and they will work on standardization framework for skills, for HPC and surrounding topics, and also certification of Europe. This will help us to identify skills and also recognize those skills across borders in Europe. We also have the EU Master for HPC, the Pan-European Master Program, that provides for the talents in HPC of tomorrow. We already mentioned it, you have seen the students, hopefully you have talked to them. In this program, there is a joint effort to create a curriculum together with European universities, research and supercomputing centers and industrial partners to adapt to the demands of the job market. While we have several initiatives in place for talent development, upskilling and transfer of competences, we still see that we are all struggling to find talents, especially the private sector. And at the same time, top talents struggle to find their way and to connect to industry. Indeed, Europe has shown a systematic challenge in matching people with the right skills to the right jobs. This is why I'm glad we are taking this opportunity to talk to both sides about those challenges, strategies, and future trends today of attracting HPC talent in Europe. We have in this panel industry representatives that have experienced the difficulty to onboard talents to their SMEs, computing center, and large industry. And I'm especially happy that instead of only talking about talents, today we are talking also with the top European talents that we have. We have 2 young talents coming from our European Master Program for HPC, and they're just starting their career in HPC. They are the future of HPC, so I'm very happy we are getting them involved into the discussion. With this, I would like for the panel to introduce themselves and also give us a first idea on the experience that shows the challenge and importance of attracting top HPC talent in Europe. Fabrizio, would you please start?
Thanks a lot, Linda, for the introduction. Fabrizio Magugliani, working in HPC since a long time. You don't want to know exactly how long. My experience, real life experience. We, with E4 Computer Engineering, are a small technology provider and system integrator based in the middle of nowhere in Emilia-Romagna in Italy. And to attract talents, we organize a sort of guided tour of our facilities, inviting students from the high school to the university. When we enter our premises, these students are talking about a zillion parameter LLMs, 5th generation languages, something like that. Good. We then drive these students in our production line. We give them the task to build the system. We give the CPUs, we give the motherboards, the memory, the PCI boards, and so on and so forth. And we drive them how to build physically a system, physically. It is amazing, amazing to see how these people who entered our premises talking about the largest challenges in the world leave our premises talking about the fact that a single line of the BIOS can make the system to boot or not to boot. So that's the real expectation that we as a community have to set in these students. HPC, AI, and quantum is not only the highest models, the most complex quantum computing models, but is also building with their hands a system and make the system to work, because that's exactly what our customers are looking after.
Thank you. Valentin, please.
Hello, good morning, everyone. I'm Valentin Plugaru. I'm the Chief Technology Officer of LuxProvide, and I'm very pleased to see you all today. And I'm representing a computing center, EuroHPC hosting entity, today for the Meluxina supercomputer that is already in production, but also for the upcoming Meluxina Q quantum computer and the Meluxina AI supercomputer, which will be optimized for AI, which will form the backbone of the AI factory of Luxembourg, and the three systems to form a digital trilogy for Luxembourg, a digital innovation trilogy. I would like to turn back the time 5 years ago. Almost to this day, it was my first day in my position. At that moment, we were 2 people in the organization with a mission to bring to life a supercomputing center. The challenge of this is, of course, it's a mountain that you have in front that you need to climb. I would say that there are really 3 things that brought together a team capable of doing it is having a huge challenge. This attracts top talent. Second, you need to have a vision for where you want to go, and you need to be able to translate this to people, to be able to, for them to understand what their role would be, and you need to show a strategy for how to arrive to that point, such that they could find themselves into this mountain climbing exercise. So we were able to bring to life supercomputing facility in, I would say, in a record time. Meluxina was one of the first systems to come alive. This would not have been possible without tremendous people that came. They saw the challenge, they saw the vision for where we wanted to go, they saw the strategy for how to arrive there, and they found themselves in it, and they stayed with us. We were able to attract talent from Spain, Italy, Germany, France, Belgium, Netherlands, people that came with different background of experience, maybe not fully HPC on day one, but who learned over time. And here comes really my message into this. Sometimes you need to take a leap of faith and to go for something challenging, and you may find that not only you like it, but you can be absolutely great at it. And top talent typically is really shining when they're given a hard problem to solve. And thankfully, we have no shortage of such problems on a daily basis on our end today. Thank you.
Thank you. Jean-Marc.
Jean-Marc Denis from Viriden. I have known my friend Fabrizio for many decades. So I started in HPC almost at the same time, so it gives you some idea about how old I am. So we are here to discuss 2 questions. First, challenges to attract talents in HPC, and second, how to retain talents. So I would like to illustrate the challenges with a series of questions to the audience. So just raise your hand if you know the answer. I don't ask you to answer. So first question, most of you have a laptop, I guess, on your knees or in your bag. Do you know what's inside your laptop, how it works, how it is organized, and why, when you press the button, it works? Great. Second question, not related at all. Translation look-aside buffer, TLB. Who knows what it is and why it's important? Less hands. Less hands. A few young hands. Third question, CC NUMA. What's that? Why it's so important in HPC? A few hands. What's cache trashing and why it's important? Okay, some hands, easier. Why do you need 64 bits for your applications? Not, do I use 64 bits, but why? Okay, a few hands. So last question, that is the challenge. Who did hold their hand positively to all questions? Not many. So this is the challenge. An HPC expert, an HPC talent is someone able to raise their hand for all questions. This is my vision anyway. And to retain the talents and to attract more talents, I would like to give an anecdote very, very fast, very quick. Such a discussion would not have happened 15 years ago. understanding that we needed HPC talents was not a question. It was not a question. We didn't understand at that time that HPC was mainstream and crucial for the sustainability of the European economy and to be competitive in the worldwide challenge. And retaining the talents means we have talents. And we have a few in this room, and we need more and more and more. And the EuroHPC Academy will help to have more people next year able to raise their hand to the questions I did ask.
Thank you very much for this nice introduction. Majesa, please.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Majesa Trimmel, and I'm part of the second cohort of the EU Master for HPC program. And I haven't been in HPC as long as everybody else. I've only been here for, I guess, 2 years now. But one thing that I noticed during that time is that everybody told us from the beginning on that people are needed. We need people, 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 and we're so happy that you're here. Wow, 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 wow. But now that I'm doing my master thesis, and a lot of my friends, a lot of my students I work with are doing the same, it was just amazing to see that what everybody promised us was not as easy to achieve as we thought. And yeah, it's just interesting to see, and that's also why I'm very, very glad to be here today to discuss and maybe align the needs, the wants, the expectations of us students with the industry. Thank you.
Thanks. Patrik, please.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Patrik. I am now doing my PhD at the Max Planck Institute for Plasma Physics after graduating from the first cohort of the EU Master for HPC. And in particular, I'm working on HPC and simulation of nuclear fusion. But I've been through the challenge of getting out of the master program into the quote-unquote real world, although I'm doing a PhD, so if you want to call it real world or not, that's your interpretation. But yeah, I'm with Majesa on a lot of things, but I want to get back on the main questions you asked, is attracting and retaining talent. So I think the attraction factor is there because I was attracted by the huge variety of opportunities that HPC really allows you to face. It's a very broad field which has applications in so many different areas, and this is, in my opinion, also one of the key challenges, because when we graduate as HPC students, if you want to call us that, we're not experts, even though many people say you're training the experts with these master programs. No, we're educated, but far from being experts. We're missing decades of experience. And so when we graduate, we're faced with a question of, okay, where to go next? And this is a question which, in a field like HPC, where we have so many different points of contact with very different topics and very different specializations, is not trivial to answer. So a key aspect of which led to my decision of joining this physics research institution and work on HPC applications was really the contact with already established people there who showed me what I can do and who showed me that I can continue to learn and continue to improve my skills in that area. And coming back to what it means with attracting and retaining talent, I think we should focus on how can we teach people that after graduating, you're not supposed to be experts, but you're supposed to keep learning and supposed to keep evolving, and you're not meant to be the solver of all problems after your studies.
Thank you very much. I think this was a very nice counterpoint, especially to the impression that Jean-Marc gave that basically you want it all. Yeah. So, but I think we already touched on some very important points here. As this is a topic that concerns all of us, either on one side or the other side, we have prepared a poll for you that we will have online now, because we want also to know your opinion on this. Please scan the QR code with your cell phone, get active, and along this session we will have 3 questions, and in these questions you are asked on your opinion to rank different items. So it's a ranking. You can choose all of the options you get, and you can rank them. But if you prefer to only choose one or two that you would like to point out, emphasize, is also fine. You do not have to rank all of them. Okay, I hope you all, I still see people scanning. So I give you 1 second more. Okay, so I think we will open the first question. The first question will be, what is, in your opinion, the biggest challenge in attracting HPC talent in Europe? And you have those options: lack of competitive salaries and benefits, limited collaboration between industry and academia, lack of information and promotion of opportunities, the inability to fully utilize the workforce due to gender imbalance, and the mismatch between expectation and reality. So I'm seeing you're very active. Numbers go up, great. I think we already see that many people find the lack of competitive salaries and benefits the biggest challenge. Did you expect that to the panel? You expected it? Patrik?
For me personally, I did not expect that. But maybe that's a bit of a controversial opinion. But in my opinion, a lot of us in the HPC fields are very passionate about what we do. And while salaries and benefits are important, they're not the #1 priority. And because the question is phrased, how do we attract HPC talent in Europe? I feel personally that at this very moment, Europe is one of the most attractive job markets there is, just because of the European way of life and among other things. So I think there's more pressing questions than competitive salaries and benefits, although, of course, it's important.
Of those options here, which one would you have voted first?
I think the second one is really, for me personally, my #1, where really lack of information and promotion of opportunities and really like exposure to opportunities is the key challenge we have.
Yes, please.
So for me, I did expect the results. I do have to say that. In the past few weeks, I talked to a lot of students in the program, and I did a little poll, and the results were exactly like you can see on there. I don't know if you can see it here.
Yeah, yes, the audience saw it and will see it.
It was
yes,
the exact same results. And it does make sense if you really think about it, because most of the people from the students from the EU Master Program, they're usually coming from a place, so they have to relocate, and then they have to find other stuff, and they have to just get the money to somehow adjust to this new lifestyle, and that is definitely something that they want to have, like a competitive salary. But I also, and I do really agree with your point, that there is definitely a lack of promotional and just a lack of awareness of all the opportunities that are in this field. It's just that a lot of us doesn't reach us as much as everybody wants to, I guess.
What do you have to say to it?
It is quite balanced.
Yes.
This is a surprise to me. I expected something much more unbalanced, with lack of competitive salaries and benefits exploding the roof, on the others being far below. And I'm a bit disappointed for seeing the gender imbalance behind.
I think it is a problem
because
that
it is a real problem, and I guess we are going to talk about it later. Just a word about salaries and benefits. Of course, it is important, no doubt. But this is not the biggest challenge. Definitively not. You will find, I'm talking for industry and for large corporations. We pay the bill, we pay the salaries, good benefits. There is no question about that. But the very main difficulty is to find candidates. So in my view, the second point, lack of information and promotion of opportunities, is definitively the real big challenge ahead of us for the coming years. My vision.
Is it the same for computing centers or SMEs? Do you think?
So from a computing center, I like the second point. I really believe in the second point from the result. I think when we started out, we really focused on HPC talent, exactly like this question is phrased. Today we're focusing more on talent that could use HPC for building solutions, which is in fact giving the opportunity of people that have not perhaps used HPC before, but they would be more akin to using HPC for doing something innovative with it. And then they could find out also that they're great at doing pure HPC if they like the world. So I think we need here a bit of a mentality shift in what we look for in HPC talent, not only for building HPC platforms, but also using the HPC platforms for doing something fantastic. And that should solve also the problem of talent more globally than before.
I think that we should be a bit careful to analyze these results. I mean, 1 or 2 votes can change the ranking. Anyway, I think this is a fact that we should take notice that the general audience believes that insufficient salaries may be a problem. The real question is what we as a companies, we industries, people hiring talents can do to fix this problem. We can rise salaries. That is putting us in a very hard position because our competitiveness in the market is linked to how much we make money. So if we rise salaries, the competitiveness goes down, our ability to hire more talents goes down. So we have to find a different way to reward our best talents, maybe salaries, maybe other benefits like career path, engagement, and so on and so forth. So salaries is not the only metrics that we should use.
Thank you. So we have discussed about challenges that people have, or like that we see for attracting talent. I have a question to you both. So what were your challenges to get, or will be to get, in the private sector? Because you didn't make this choice, and I heard like many of the students, they stay in academia. So is there a challenge there as well?
So I think the biggest challenge is we study for 5 to 6 years. So we have time for 5 to 6 years to acclimate in this academic setting and get comfortable, find our way to work in this very setting, make connections within academia, connections that have a long time to develop before really making real and proper industrial connections. And when it then comes to choosing a way forward after your studies, it really becomes tricky because you have that many opportunities in academia to go forward. Of course, not every person like myself is attracted to continue in academia, but as speaking for myself, who was open for both options, I had a lot of connections to academia, and they not only provided me with the connections to go wherever I wanted, more or less, but also provided me with a certain freedom of choosing what to do. So it's not like there's no opportunities in industry where I could basically see what I can do and have the freedom of choice, but of course the connections I had to industry were very limited in that regard. And even though we're pushing here to connect students with industry, the amount of connection is still lacking behind, and the opportunities, especially in Europe, while there, need to be like connected more deeply with the students, and especially with the students who are about to start their final year, because this is really when the most important connections are made.
Would you say it's a lack of visibility of the opportunities that you could have?
Yes, it's one, a lack of visibility, and two, a lack of certainty of what actually this opportunity means for the students. Because I know when I go into academia, I have a certain freedom of finding my topic, but in industry it's often uncertain what exactly I will do at this given company, right?
Yes, I see you're on your chairs both. Please go ahead. I think you want to comment on this.
So you sparked some interesting discussion there. So I want a reflection. I will launch a reflection question for you and also people that are maybe online and in the audience. Did you know that physicists make great data scientists? When you look at industry opportunities for data scientists, you will find maybe that a lot of the work that you do in physics is actually great for doing data science, applied to real world problems.
But do the physicists know that?
I just told them.
Okay. Thanks, Valentin. Fabrizio wanted to say something.
Okay, thanks. I wanted to sort of debunk a myth. There is no alternative, tough alternative between going to the academic career and going in a company. In our company, we have 4 people who are working part-time for us, and they are still in the academics. So they make some research in the academics, and they bring the knowledge in our company. I think this is a working model of how people can continue with academic research and at the same time bring back this knowledge in our companies. So don't put it as a either or,
Yes.
an exclusive or, so sorry. But it is a merge between the 2 paths which can be interchangeable. We want to have people in our companies take training in the academia because this is increasing the knowledge and the competitiveness of our staff.
Thank you, and I think we are right digging into the next poll question. So we talked a lot about challenges, and I think also with the old poll request, we have seen that there's not just one challenge, but we have different challenges that we need to tackle, right? So now let's talk a bit, and we started already, about strategies and solutions, how we can improve that. And for this, it's the same QR code, but you have now the options to put a ranking forward to which factor do you think is most important to retraining the HPC talent actually in an organization. So what is important for you? What do you feel is important for your employees, if you have any? The options of this poll are opportunities for career growth right now at place 1, work-life balance, access to cutting-edge technology, the competitive salaries and benefits, and strong professional networks. Okay. So very contrary to the first poll, okay, I mean, it's just like it's still changing. But now competitive salaries and benefits is not place 1 anymore, right? It's for attracting, but if you are in, apparently, maybe it's not the biggest thing. So what do you think about that?
They tricked us.
Maybe we convinced them otherwise.
Yeah, maybe it was the discussion here.
I like very much the results, indeed. It's a big surprise to see that during the first poll, the competitive salaries and benefits were coming 1. And right now, work-life balance is ahead. That's a big change. That is very interesting. But I would like to give a word about the first one, opportunities for career growth. This is important in large enterprise. The traditional model in a large company, this is to be an engineer, a scientist, then to become an expert in this domain, then because you are successful to become a manager, so you start managing people, and over time, over your career, you do less and less technology, science, engineering, whatever, and more management, budget, stuff like that nobody wants to do at the beginning of their career, but it is becoming a must-have when you want to grow. It is changing. What I have described is, I wouldn't say part of the history. There are still many big corporations run this way, but at least in our company, we are a company of engineers, of scientists. We believe very much in having a management career path, not for the people in this room, and a technology career path, meaning that with the same level of seniority, of expertise, you are a manager managing 100 people, you are a chief scientist being visible at the international level and being members of many organizations and publishing papers, you have the same benefits, the same seniority in the company, the same internal visibility. This is something quite new in Europe, something more familiar for US and non-European companies. But now I believe that in Europe it is changing in the big corporations, and you should really consider, if you want to have a scientific career in the industry, to consider the big corporations, because it is changing and you will be considered for the talents you have, and not only because you are able to become a manager and to build financial models in an Excel sheet.
Please, yes.
So in fact, I like that number 1 and number 2 are actually talking about benefits.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? Because so work-life balance, actually, I found out, means something very different to a lot of people. To some people means coming a bit later into work, also leaving a bit later. For others, it means having very concrete separation between professional life and personal life, so very clear-cut boundaries, but we all see it in a different way. But still, it's a benefit that organizations today have to make work between what they have as a target for them to deliver, plus keeping their staff motivated and also being able to find this inner balance that makes them productive back into professional life. On the first one, I think we did 2 or 3 things with the team that we were in LuxProvide over the last 3 years. To give you some concrete example, we had people that joined us at the level of a specialist and became people manager, and they did great in one, and they do great in the second one. We also had people that became a specialist in a specific domain where they came with a different profile. So there's always opportunities for career growth. This doesn't always mean for you personally going into a leadership or a team manager, people manager role. Sometimes it does mean, we already heard this a second ago, it means having also visibility, being able to have interesting projects that you deliver great, and also becoming a better person, even doing professional recalibration, which sometimes happens early in life, sometimes it can also happen late in life. So I think opportunities do exist, especially today that organizations are in flux. HPC is in flux with the arrival of quantum and AI. So there's a ton of new opportunities that didn't exist before, where in the end, I will repeat this message multiple times today, you need to take this leap of faith and to find the opportunity actively, because definitely the opportunities are there. We see it from EuroHPC and Commission funding centers, funding equipment, funding skills. So definitely there are opportunities that are today there and that will also come over the next years.
I have a question to that point. Yeah? How do you find it? Where do I find it, the opportunities? Like very practical, where do I go?
So very practically, we had one EU Master for HPC student that knew that LuxProvide was coming with a Meluxina demo today. So after our session today at lunchtime, when we have Meluxina demo, we're going to see him.
Okay, so personal contact, but then you need basically to talk to people. But like if I'm sitting at home and I want to find those opportunities, and this is like, what do I do? Like,
go to LinkedIn.
Go to LinkedIn.
Well, going to LinkedIn is just yet another social network. So if you go to your usual circle of connections, you will not find what you are looking for. You have to think large, very, very large. If you want to find a job through LinkedIn, think about all the verticals. You have absolutely no clue what they are doing. You are an expert in genetics, but you want to work in an HPC, look at the manufacturing ecosystem. This is not your ecosystem, maybe you have no connection, but you will find many opportunities. I mean, LinkedIn is the place where enterprises, where corporations, economical world, post their jobs. This is really the place where it's easy to find opportunities.
Thanks. And I have a question. Where are you looking if you look for opportunities?
To be honest, LinkedIn is not my first choice. It's not my first choice because it doesn't give me the best results for HPC. It just doesn't. It's a weird platform sometimes, and I know that I talked to some students, and not everybody uses LinkedIn.
Don't type HPC in LinkedIn. This is the point.
No, but how else? How else? Do you think it's better? I should look through. You have to think about it in some sense that I don't want to spend all my time looking through thousands of profiles of anything. I'm someone who doesn't, I'm a student. I don't have enough time for that because I have an assignment due tomorrow or anything, which I had. So how else should I find something?
Career fairs.
Yes, that one I agree. Career fairs are a very, very good thing for students. I know so many people who just go there and make great connections. It's the one thing. And word of mouth in general seems to be much more effective from what I see instead of LinkedIn, funnily enough.
That's why I'm a bit disappointed to see interconnect with the community as the last voted reply. I think that talking with our peers in events like this, like ISC, like the summits, that like career fair, is critical to find jobs, critical to know what other people are doing and which kind of people can help you finding a job. So the presence of industries as well as students in these events can create a network of knowledge which is enabling people to tell, you know, Valentin, I'm looking for a job. Do you have one by any chance at the coffee machine?
Tentatively, yes. What can you do?
How much are you giving me?
Okay, so thanks. I think there's some very interesting points here, and I want to touch a bit on the topic of, do you think that coming out of a master program like yours is preparing you well for those opportunities? Or do you think there's a disconnect? And what do we have to implement in the trainings and the education that we are providing to also match your expectations? And we have heard, Jean-Marc, your expectations are very high. So how can we achieve that?
So to answer your first question, no, masters are not well prepared.
Yes.
They know lots about technology, but they don't know very much how to use them all together, and they don't know very much about real life in corporations, meaning to work under constraints, within the limits of a given budget, within limits of time constraints, within limits of working with people you don't know, and maybe you are not very much willing to work with, but it's part of the life in companies. So young people are coming with a lot of expectations, and we have different expectations. How to solve that? In my view, it's not so difficult. It's just about open the education program to large corporations, asking top experts from the industry to give some lectures in master degrees and in conferences where education is at stake. This is about, through the foundations on the management of the universities, to ask corporations to help defining the education program. It's also something that could be done. It takes time. In some countries in Europe, this is a very, very touchy question, to have the economical world entering the doors of the universities. But if we can achieve that, then young people at master degree will be well prepared to start working efficiently in the industry. Nevertheless, we hire young people even if they are not well prepared, meaning that we understand the problem, we agree to solve the problem on our own. So we have a system of internal sponsorship where during a long period of time, it could be from 6 months to 2 years, the young hired people are internal trainees to some extent, where they learn how to work with a standard of quality we want, and with let's say, all the expertise we need, combining all what they have learned during their education.
So this works for large industry, that you have this trainee training process. Does this work for like an SME?
Partially. we want people technically knowledgeable. That's the starting point. Then we take care to build around these people a framework to make them understanding that the technical problems are just part of the overall picture. But this is something specific to us, where we have a program, internal program, to drive people to understand also the business part. So if you build a system that may not be beyond what Jean-Marc is calling the constraint, so it must not cost a lot. But I think this is a company of a role of the company to train these people for the specific business environment where they are supposed to work. So the requirements we have are different from the requirements from a large corporation, because we are SME.
Yes. Patrik, do you want to touch upon this?
I mean, like the points mentioned before, so including industry in university training certainly can help. But of course, we're starting our studies, our master programs, not with the precise goal of where we want to end up, meaning we cannot focus we should maybe, but we cannot focus for 2 years on preparing for one specific job, meaning we get a sort of general education. And if I go back to the last point and then going back to where we look for jobs, okay, I agree that career fairs and the personal contacts where we can really exchange, okay, what can you do? Or I think the more important question is, what will you be able to do after you started, right? Can be answered, which is a big thing that's lacking from these platforms like LinkedIn and co, where you get a huge list, very convoluted mostly, with big corporations who have hundreds of openings for very similar positions, where they list very specific requirements. You're like, okay, no, I'm not really fitting for this, because they don't ask you what you will be able to do. They ask you what you can do now. And for a lot of, especially fresh graduates, many of these points are just not fitting. So these trainee programs are good, but then of course you have to package this nicely. Okay, graduates who just studied for 6 years, they want to go into the workplace and start to work. So can you somehow package this trainee program as, okay, you are working, but you are learning as well, right? So you're not just a student, but you're also not just someone who now is an expert and applies. No, you're both. You're learning, and in 1-2 years you'll have the necessary expertise, or even more.
The mechanism of apprenticeship is something extremely efficient for the industry. You spend, let's say, 1 month at the university, 1 month in a corporation, 1 month at the university, 1 month in the corporation. Okay, it's longer to get the degree. Instead of having your master degree in 2 years, you get it in 3 years. But you are ready. You have a very large culture, both academic and industrial, and it's so helpful for the career behind. So this is something that we enjoy a lot, and we have partnership with some universities around the world. With MIT, with the State University in Colorado, with KAUST in Saudi, with 2 French universities in Grenoble, in Reims, with the Norwegian Institute of Technology, where we implement this kind of approach, and it works. It really works.
Do you think industry is doing this enough? So
No,
they are
not
programs, but is
enough.
it not enough to?
What we are doing, I wouldn't say it's unique, because some other companies are doing the same, but this is not the mainstream way to attract talents. But we have identified that attracting talents in HPC is a real problem decades ago. So we decided to find a solution on our own. And this is how and why we implemented this apprenticeship program with some academic partners.
Yes. Thank you very much. We are a changing field, right? So this field is very dynamic. It's connecting HPC, AI, and quantum communities. How do you think this influences this challenge? And what will we see in the future with these future trends?
Can you provide me a crystal ball?
This is why we brought you here.
Yeah. Well, I think that we will see a more and more integrated environment where there won't be a single system, but a system of systems solving specific problems. That's why we need people able to cover different areas of the full picture and able to understand the interconnect among the different components much more tightly than we have right now. We should welcome any new technology because this is bringing us new ideas and bring competitiveness in our society as well as company.
But is there not also a competitiveness that people prefer to go to, AI, quantum, because it's more attracting them than like maybe traditional HPC as well?
And I welcome the fact that people are going to quantum or AI, provided that the same amount of people are coming to HPC, and we have to deliver, we as a company, we have to deliver the message that it is a whole system which must be supported by the proper knowledge and the people. AI is not by default more attractive, more sexy than quantum, than building a real HPC system, because the real HPC system is basically the workhorse behind everything we see. There is not AI as a mind somewhere in the world, in the hyper-uranium. It is a matter of hardware, software, interconnect, and other components. And we need people to do that. If I may say the last word, we need people able to think out of the box. Mm-hmm. Just thinking what has been done in the past with 10% better is not anymore enough. We have to think some innovative solution, bring innovativeness in our products, and we need to think out of the box. That's, I think, the real requirement that we have to put on stage in this moment.
Something to add?
AI. Everybody's talking about AI. This is the, let's say, the buzzword of the decade, maybe. If you are not AI, you don't exist, or something like that. You open the radio, you look at any newspaper, you watch any news on the TV, you always have something about AI. So when you talk about HPC, people, what's that? Or when they know it's for my grandpa. Oh, sorry, Fabrizio. So, no, HPC is not very fancy, to make it simple. So you have to spend time to explain that, oh yes, AI now has proven it works. Now it has to become efficient. And then the people start scratching their head. How to make money with AI? How to be efficient? How to deliver the same something with less power consumption, with less CapEx, with less, to make it simple. And then the people start asking the question that we, the HPC community, have started to address decades ago. Meaning that at some point of inflection, AI will become HPC. And that point of inflection is not so far in the future. Just look at the questions about data management in the panel yesterday. This is questions we have worked with in HPC forever. So at some point, again, AI will be absorbed by the HPC, let's say, flow, meaning that in a few years, decades, I don't know, I don't have a crystal ball, we'll keep talking about HPC, I have no doubt. But will AI be one of the keywords? I don't know. Quantum is far too infancy for we can predict whatever. But I really believe that, okay, we're under the AI wave. The wave will go and AI will still be there, but that will be HPC.
Okay, thank you. So we have heard about different strategies. We have heard about some new trends. In the beginning, I mentioned that EuroHPC already put some measures in place to support talent development, upskilling, knowledge transfer. But of course, there's always room to improve, and especially as the challenge remains, we all agree. And we have the last poll of today, and this poll will ask you what actually EuroHPC, how EuroHPC could support this challenge in attracting HPC talent in Europe. So you have different options about enhancing industry-academia collaborations, supporting talent development initiatives, promoting HPC careers and education, creating a European HPC job platform, and ensure continuity in funding and grants. I know there should be an option all of the above, but here we want to see what you think would help. Okay, we already see a trend. What do you think? What would support you?
It's changing now. So
it's changing.
Our number one has just turned into the number 5. So, I mean, it's surprising that we basically have a 5-way tie.
It's the all of the above answer.
Yeah, it is really all of the above.
Yeah. No, because we cannot vote, and I would have voted for the yellow one.
Yeah, but...
Okay, but what would be your thing?
I mean, I agree. The yellow one is, if done
creating
right,
a European HPC job platform.
A European HPC job platform is something that could work if done right. Of course, there's a lot of technicalities about a platform like this, but some common place where HPC interested or HPC proficient young talents can look for really European opportunities to get started in the HPC community, or to find opportunities, or to find events or places where they can connect with other people. I think that's even more crucial. Right? Not that we
I
create
see you nodding,
platform.
so this would be also your preferred option, very quick before we move on. Yeah?
Yeah, creating a European HPC job platform could be a very simple approach, easy to implement, and it could be done, let's say, in less than 6 months.
Okay.
But,
all right.
Sorry to interrupt, but I believe that the first one, promoting HPC careers and education, is very complementary to the creation of such a platform.
That's true.
Yeah, also the fourth one, I think, is also very
and that would be also helpful to help to rebalance genders in our ecosystem. That is an initiative that could come from the European institutions, from the countries, to force through the platforms, through the promotion, let's say, the rebalance toward women in our industry. This is something that we definitively need.
Okay, thank you. Yes, very short comment, please.
When the European HPC job platform is created, I commit that our positions will be on it.
I will take you up on this if we get
the same.
Okay, cool. So hands up, who would put jobs on a job platform? Yeah, that looks good. So at least there would be some interest from the audience. Before we summarize and wrap up, I would like also to give you the chance to ask some questions to the panelists. So if you have any questions, anything you would like to touch on, now is your chance. We have the microphones going around.
Speak now or keep your pace forever.
I see a hand over there. This gentleman with the hand up. Oh.
Good morning, hello. I'm Paul, journalist from Poland. Question I hope that many great participants of this summit will also find familiar. What about humanists? This is a question for general advice. Do you think that is there any concrete advices for study, courses, something that humanists could find and could also be better prepared for changing world?
Would you like? Yes, please, Valentin.
I will answer in a bit of a roundabout way, but please stick with me. So there's, of course, fundamental training like the Master for HPC is doing, which takes years to achieve something. But there's also a new concept that is being done. The AI factories will start to do this too, which is creating micro-credential-like courses, meaning that you will go not very deep, but you will have exposure to a specific subject that you may wish for, and you can even get a certificate out of it. I think this is a way for everybody that is interested in things that touch on HPC or the usage of HPC, AI, quantum. People will be able to find themselves things that they would like, and they could see if this is something for them, or they could get a use of it or not, which would be also fair. But they will be able to have a short type of training on a specific subject. So this will be something that didn't really exist until now.
Yes. Maybe also to add on this, in the beginning when I talked about initiatives, they were not all initiatives, so there are even more. So for example, we have a project that is right now dealing with a training platform where you basically can find training videos. So if there's a topic you would like to get into HPC, you also have the opportunity on your own to watch videos, go to courses, and then of course we have many HPC centers that provide training and so on if you then start to dig deeper into it. Do you want to comment on this? Yes,
maybe
please.
a comment, yeah. We have talked a lot about that HPC is massively a question of mastering science and technology, but it's more than that indeed. HPC is at the crossover of many different sciences, hard sciences, and now with the rise of data, so-called artificial intelligence, soft sciences. So people having soft skills, soft masters and PhD are becoming interesting people to be at this crossover between hard science and soft science and the usage and the tools and everything. So I believe that from this standpoint, HPC world, the one we know today, will be different in 10 years, where the role of let's say, sociologists, the role of soft sciences, generally speaking, will be much more important in our domain.
I don't speak about the system by themselves, of course, but I think that the other humanities sciences have a lot to bring when training AI models. In this moment, we are talking about more systems, but making an AI model for Homer or Virgilius or something like that may bring some additional knowledge to having AI more manageable, if you understand what I mean, more realistic. So I think that the humanities, as other sciences like that, have a role, not in the system by themselves, but in building models which are human, let's say that, humanistic.
Okay, thank you. Any further questions?
Yeah.
I see, yes, please.
Yeah, maybe more a comment. I come from the soft sciences, and so I did a degree in digital humanities, and I never came across anything HPC. It was not introduced to me. The only reason I'm here today is because...
Can you stand up?
Yeah.
Sorry, we don't see you.
Yeah. So I'm Lara Peters, I'm from Ghent University, and the only reason I got into here at this conference is because I was looking for jobs using Python on our national job register in Belgium. So I think contacting digital humanities degrees and also showing them that HPC exists and introducing that to the students in those degrees, because I think those are the people that you're looking for if you want more people from the soft sciences who are already interested in some computer background already. So
But just a short question for you. You did not specifically look for HPC, you just ended up
I
here.
looked for Python.
Okay, great to have you here. Thanks.
Brava.
I see a hand down here, also up. Oh, here, there's a microphone. But then I will come back to you, but please go ahead, yes.
Hi, so my name is Julius. Thanks a lot for the discussion. There was a lot of points that I really agree with. I am a HPC developer in Denmark, and the last 4 years I went twice through a hiring cycle, first after my PhD and then for moving to Denmark. And the one thing that I kind of missed in this discussion was actually, so you talked a lot about finding HPC talent and finding HPC jobs and retaining it. But I think a big part of it is the hiring process. And there was not a lot of discussion about this. So I had trouble finding HPC jobs. I looked a lot on LinkedIn, went through hundreds of profiles. And then I found, if I find a company that I find interesting, I go to the website and I look at the job board there. And then often, the job boards don't allow you to open multiple positions at the same time. So you can't do control and click and open a position, and then you can't compare positions. You have to open it, and then it just opens the website, and you have to click back to look at the next one. This is really a big problem if there's like 20, 25, 50 software developer positions, because you cannot compare them. The next thing that I noticed on these platforms is you have to re-enter your CV. So you upload it, you have to retype your whole CV over again. And then when you've done that at the end, then it asks you to submit a cover letter. I'm like, okay, couldn't that have been in the job posting already? That I could have prepared it before I do everything else? And the thing is, at the end of the whole application, like of my personal process, if I go to a company and I see it's the same bad design for the job posting, and it's not a position that interests me 100%, I will most likely not apply anymore. So if I have two jobs, one where I see, okay, this is a nice modern looking application process, and I have another one where the job is kind of interesting, but you know, it's a job. But I see this old-fashioned platform, I will probably apply for the other one first. And another thing, a lot of the job postings are very generic. Often company websites are very generic, don't really know what I would be doing in a personal life. So I think what would really help there is if there's a open source problem that is provided on GitHub, for example, where you can actually see, hey, this is a problem from the company that they've maybe worked on in the past, and there's a possible solution, and I can see kind of the technology that is used and the stack and the problems that I would be working on. So this is more of a comment rather question.
Please, yes, interesting comment. Thank you very much for the
Thank you for the I believe this is very good inputs for the specification of the European HPC job platform. Thank you.
No, but I think, but what do you think about this
your comment
open
about
source GitHub where you can actually check?
I like very much your comment about, wow, when I see a modern job posting platform or website, it's more appealing than an old-fashioned one. This is how it's going to evolve. Because of you, because of all the people going to the modern and innovative way of hiring people, as opposed to the old-fashioned style websites where nobody will post anything. So this is how it's going to evolve. It's been evolving this way since the world is the world.
Valentin?
I have a very simple message. If you don't find yourself in a specific job position, still apply if you're interested, because the people that are going to read it will likely drive you to other opportunities that may exist. That's it.
I understand what you mean. I've been fighting a lot of times with our HR department. They claim that they have to be compliant with the GDPR, all these messy rules, and they cannot do it is work, okay? So I take the commitment to give my input to the next job posting for EuroHPC to make it easy to submit and preventing anybody to waste time and their resources.
Okay, thank you. You want to short comment, but then we will move on for the last question.
Yes, just a short comment.
I think it's working.
It's working, okay, great. So I don't know, I've probably after the PhD applied for, I would say somewhere between 30 to 50 applications over the last years. And you were saying that I should just apply, but I've done that. And I've had so many jobs that either just ghosted me, like no reply at all. And I think out of the 30 to 50 applications, there was only a single person that reached out after an application saying, hey, but we might have something interesting, something else.
I have a question.
So the majority, maybe there's a, you guys are the exception, but the majority of companies, at least in the Netherlands area and partially in Denmark, will not come back to you. Like complete ghosting, not even a rejection email, nothing. I've had someone call me 6 months later and say, hey, are you still interested in the job?
Thank you. I think this is really actually something that companies should consider as a feedback that I think we all know how painful this process is, or like some of us know. We are running out of time, but I know we have a question, and I promise you will get that question, so please, last question.
Hi, it's not a question. I am Vanessa Iglesias from Barcelona Supercomputing Center, and it's related with these platform jobs for HPC. And also to say that look for a job is a job itself, so sorry for your experience, but it's normal. So just to say that we have this high-peak jobs platform as well. And then if you are interested, you can look there for some jobs in HPC, and also you can post also your jobs. So I think that if we already have something, we can take the profit to use it. For sure, we can create new ones, but take the profit that's something that already exists. Just this.
Okay. Thank you very much. I think we leave it at this for now. We are coming to an end. So, many thanks. I think we have heard a lot. It is a challenge. It will remain a challenge. And we will have to make this a priority to invest in people. And before we summarize, I would like to give the chance to you, to our panel, to give us one last thought for the way out. So, Fabrizio, please.
May I give 3 thoughts?
If you're fast.
Okay, I will say in 1 minute. First, I envy the young generation who are coming into this business because they have in front of them a very bright future and a very interesting future. The best things will happen in the next year, and we see right now just the dawn of this future, and you, the talents who enter in this world, will have the ability to create this European future. Second, no matter how many CVs you are going to submit, keep trying. Keep trying, because this is the way that you will find a job suitable for your skills. And don't be afraid if you will get no or no reply, which is even worse, I admit it. Keep trying. Third and last, think out of the box. Be creative, fail, accept to fail, but keep trying. That's the way to create the future.
Thank you.
I find Fabrizio spoke for me too. In fact, you may remember this very easily. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take, and where there's a will, there's a way. So finding a job after 50 applications, I still count it as a success, because Edison found 99 ways of how not to build a light bulb. So in the end, you need to keep trying at it. So this goes to early career professionals, but also to students. You just need to keep trying, and you will find your way. That's for sure.
Jean-Marc, your last statement.
Yes, I will be very positive for the closing words. We, Europe, in the academic area, in the economical area, we need HPC, AI, and quantum people. There are much more jobs than students trained every year. So believe me, there is place for everybody in this room to find a job in HPC, AI, and quantum, no doubt. On one final question, and let's say request to EuroHPC, this is to help to rebalance genders in our ecosystems. We definitively and dramatically need it.
Thank you. Majesa, please.
So, for my last words, I just want to say everybody has a real place here, and it can be social sciences, humanities, whatever. So also keep trying, but I also want to say that companies definitely still have to do something, and I hope that we can see a change with the platform and everything else, that this may help younger people have it easier going into this industry, but also for the other people. Again, everybody has a place.
Thanks. Patrik?
Yeah, on a very similar note to Majesa, two messages. One's for the students. It's going to be difficult to find the path you want to take and to find the opportunities you really are interested in. But also then for the companies, I think, especially talking about Europe, at the moment, we're one of the most attractive markets. Speaking to my peers, no one wants to leave Europe. They leave Europe because they have to and not because they want to. And as companies, you should really promote the opportunities you have. It's, in my opinion, not enough to just post a job opening. I know a lot of people do a lot more than this, but it's not just enough to post a job position on some platform, but really approach recent graduates, approach the talents, tell them about what you're offering. Many might not be interested, but some will.
Thank you very much. So on this last point you said, actually we also try to do our part in this event. This afternoon we have a career fair where we try to help this matchmaking process. And I would like to thank everybody, like all the organizations that will participate in the career fair, but also all people that are looking for a job, the students that will try. And I hope we can help and make some matches for this today. I see my HR sitting first row. I think we are over time, but I will just say we have also EuroHPC opening positions, and I think this is what you would like to say. But I think we will close now. But please come by today in the job fair to EuroHPC. We also are looking for you. And with this, I would like first to thank the panel for this very great discussions we were having. And I would also like to thank the audience for your participation in this active panel. And you're not just ready for coffee, you have to stay a bit more, because actually we have a very special moment now in the summit. Talent development is very important to EuroHPC. And this is also why we always have our own master students here with us in the summit. In addition to just showing up, they also always have a challenge to solve. And this challenge gets awarded then during the EuroHPC summit. And this is why I welcome now on stage the EuroHPC Executive Director, Anders Jensen. Please, thank you.